Brittany, and I have a bachelor's degree in film and television.
And I'm Jessica, and I have a bachelor's degree in equine studies. And we're here to make another Bad Horse movie.
Woo! Welcome back to Colt
Classics.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I think we need to split that intro.
We might need to
We always. Anyways,
we want to welcome people into our homes and our lives and our hearts. And also into Community Access Media. Woo. Thank you again for letting us use your podcasting studio. Yes. This time with added video.
Woo.
Hello.
So you can see us now.
Yeah,
well,
and so
maybe, depending on.
The hope is that you can tell who is talking by watching the person talking.
So you can either not watch the video and continue to play the game of who is who.
Right, exactly.
Or if you really are desperate to know who is who, we will have a video now.
Yes, yeah. So I'm not quite sure what we're doing with this video element other than putting it on Community Access Media's channel.
Yes.
They get access to this, which is super cool. I'm not sure what we're doing for the rest of y'all, so maybe YouTube channel. Who knows?
Stay tuned.
We're going to figure it out when we get there.
Yes.
Which is going to be October. So we are like mid-September right now.
Yes.
But this episode is for October.
Ooh, spooky episode.
Spooky episode. It's time for the yearly spooky episode.
Woo.
Before we get to that,
yes,
what you got for me?
Before we get to the spookiness, a couple things. First of all, I don't think we've plugged our merch on the podcast yet.
Now, I did put it at the beginning of last one.
Okay.
But yeah, we got merch now.
We got merch now. I don't actually have it physically with me.
You should have told me I would have brought it.
I didn't think about that until right now, so we could show it on the camera. But anyways, we have some cool shirts with our newly redesigned logo by how are we crediting? Pachu? Alex from
Sorted and Pokemakers. Yeah.
Yeah. She did an excellent job with our new cool logo. So it's on a shirt. We have stickers. I think those are the two things that we have.
That's what we have right now.
Yes. Yeah. If you want more merch, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll look into it.
As of recording this, we are still trying to climb towards our barn special.
Yes.
So if you want us to record a podcast in a barn and interview a horse, get us to 1,000 followers on Twitter. 1,000 new followers.
Yes, 1,000 new followers. So follow us on Twitter. Make extra accounts to follow us on Twitter.
Tell your mom. Get your mom to make a Twitter account. Yeah. Your mom does not need to be on Twitter, by the way.
No.
So I wouldn't recommend that.
No.
But we talked about it before of like what platform are we trying to like get people to? I think end goal is to maybe get people to gravitate towards the Discord, but we wanted a social media account that you could kind of see all the updates and stuff.
Yeah.
And Twitter makes the most sense for us. So,
yeah. That's where we engage the most, I think.
Yeah. So that's the goal for that. What else we got?
I wanted to give an update. If any of you have been following along, we have been playing Hey or Nay.
Yeah.
We're not going to play today, but I wanted to put it for history. I don't know what you want.
For history?
That's not
pounding me into the dirt?
That's not what I meant. I'm just trying
Historically, Brittany sucks at guessing horse names. In the history books.
Obviously, I podcast because I'm good with words.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
No, I just wanted to, I don't know, make it so if anybody hasn't been following along, right now the running total is we've played this Hey or Nay 9 times, and you've gotten 1 correct so far.
No, that's so bad.
Hey, at least you have 1 correct and not 0. Because for a while there, it was looking like there was going to be 0.
We've been doing this podcast for at least a year at this point because we've already done a spooky episode in the past. So I know for sure we've rotated around the sun to back to spooky episode.
Yeah.
1?
1.
Cry.
I mean, to be fair, I also get like disappointed when I don't stump you. So
Well, here's the thing. I think in the future here, I'm gonna start putting together some horse movie titles. And I'm gonna try to stump you is the goal. Yeah. So even if I don't win at guessing thoroughbred racing horse names, I can at least be good at generating fake movie titles. So.
Well, the one time we played it so far, I did lose. Yeah. So my score currently is 0-1.
So I gotta start getting back at that. But we're doing neither hey nor nay nor movie titles. Yeah, which we don't have a cool catchy name for that either. No. What are we doing today?
Today I just wanted to share some cool facts that I found whilst scrolling on the internet.
As you do.
But they're not like fake internet facts. Okay. I know that at this point when this is coming out, the Olympics was like 7 years ago. But
okay, it's coming out in October. Olympics are in what? July? August? So
well, no, maybe it was July. I don't even know.
Like 3 months.
Yeah. Anyways, the hype is gone from the Olympics.
Well, the Paralympics just happened too.
Yes.
So,
they were cool.
They were still there.
I unfortunately did not get any facts from the Paralympics.
That's okay.
Because I found these facts a while ago.
Sure.
But I don't know. I was reading a thing and it was really cool. And so I wanted to share. The first thing that I will share is that the oldest Olympian competitor in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics was Mary Hannah. I don't know how you say her last name, from Australia. And she was an equestrian. She's 66 years old, competing in the Olympics in the individual eventing, team eventing, individual and individual dressage. So those were the three ones that she competed in. But I just thought it was kind of cool that like one of the things that they pointed out, because when I was watching the opening ceremonies a little bit after the fact, but anyways, and they were talking about, the oldest Olympian, the youngest one. I was like, oh, it's equestrians. Woo! So.
Well, the youngest one was skateboarding, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Sentient skateboard and regular
horses are not sentient skateboards.
No, they're more like bicycles.
Yes. No? I don't know.
That is a joke that I have stolen. The joke is horses are great. They're like if a bicycle could make bad decisions. So that's not my original joke.
I feel like it shouldn't even be a bicycle. I think it should be, I think I've seen it too, where if a motorcycle could make bad decisions, because they can go really fast.
That's true. That's true. Are there motorcycles in the Olympics? There's
No, there's BMX.
Yeah. So BMX, horses, same thing.
Yeah, except for horses can't do backflips.
Ugh. One day. When will technology give me horse backflips? I'm waiting.
No, please no.
Can you imagine though? That would be so cool. This horse runs really fast and then just goes in a circle.
I don't like that image at all.
You're as someone who actively is on a horse. Yeah. I've been on a horse. I've been on a horse recently, but that's about it.
If you go to our Twitter,
you can see
follow
a picture.
us on Twitter, you can see a picture of Birdie on a real live actual horse.
On a real horse, who apparently she's not a good new rider horse, which is fine because I was just being led around anyways. I was not steering this horse at all, and I was like, "This is great because I have poor balance." Yeah, so
and you have to have good balance to ride.
And it's been so long since I've actually ridden a horse. I was like, I don't remember how to do this, so please just lead me like a 3-year-old at the carnival. I'll take it.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
super great. So that's a cool fun fact.
Yeah. So my other fun fact. I feel like I think you will really like.
I love fun facts.
Well, there's that
in general.
Yeah. So I'll just read this straight from the website. This was actually from an article about where they were talking how the horses were being flown in planes to the Olympics. But then they kind of just went on to talk about some more things. Like the main part of it was talking about flying in the planes. But then they were just talking about some facts about the equestrian sport and stuff like that. So this is from Eurodressage.com. says equestrian is the only sport in the Olympic movement in which men and women compete head-to-head throughout the games, making it a totally gender-neutral sport. And the FEI doesn't need a policy regarding transgender athletes, as there are no requirements for our athletes to state their gender in order to participate in FEI competitions or at the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Equestrian is not a gender-affected sport that relies on the physical strength, stamina, and physique of an athlete, as there are no gender-based biological advantages. Success in equestrian is largely determined by the unique bond between the horse and athlete and refined communication with the horse.
So, Olympics, gender, horse person.
Horse person, yes, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
I want to say horse girl, but like when I say horse girl, I mean the trope of I communicate with my horse.
We have a special bond.
We have a bond. Not actually girl as in gender. Girl as in bond.
As in bond. James Bond. Sorry.
We've got somewhere with that. Yeah. I love that. That's really cool though. Yeah. It makes sense totally too if you think about it, because it's really just about riding the horse.
Yeah.
Like, at that point.
Yeah.
So.
There really is no differences of what you do when you're on top of the horse. Like, you do it the same.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, there had been like side saddle and all that kind of stuff that was. It was a different way of riding, but I think it still required the same, like, I don't know, thought process and muscles and all that kind of stuff to be able to ride a horse. So it's just, it was one of those ones. It's it's the only one that's not separated into. This is the men's division competing, and this is the women's division competing. Like, it's all together.
All horse.
All horse.
Gender horse.
Gender is horse.
Today's gender is horse. All right. So, is that what you got for me?
That was what I had.
Excellent. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous episode of Colt Classics, but I've made a new title generator for us. What I've done is I've gone through and I inputted titles that we've generated in the past.
Oh,
so
okay.
It kind of does create a little bit of an echo with past titles, but I think what it's going to do is train this predictive text generator like that these words go after these words. So weird titles that we've made are going to be in there. And then I've added some locations and some people names.
And so everything's not Justin.
Right. So everything's not just Justin. So that should help.
I don't know why Justin is such a horse movie name.
I don't know, but I did see that there was a couple titles with Justin in it. So
also we have to. Since we went on that whole like side trail of the Olympics, now we're back. It's spooky time.
It is spooky time. Yes,
and like spooky music.
Okay, I'll make a note for myself for later. We came up with a spooky word that we like that we're going to put in this title. So is it going to be? I just realized I can't reach my keyboard.
Do you need some help with that?
I may need some help with that. Is it going to be at the beginning, middle, end? What are we thinking?
I want to see what happens if we can try to fit it in the middle.
Okay. Well, then, if that's the case, we've got our very traditional The Horse of. Would you like a shuffle?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's do a shuffle. Gotta, turf, stallion. Any of those?
No.
Okay. Shuffle. Cowgirls, dumb, honor. I like dumb.
Me too.
Okay. Dumb. As.
Yes.
Okay. Dumb as
no, we got to put the word in now.
Okay, what's the word?
The spooky word. The spooky word. Oh,
which one's
the spooky word?
Well, I pitched ghastly.
Yes, that
and
one.
then cauldron was the other one that
ghastly.
Ghastly.
Yes.
Dumb as ghastly doesn't quite work, but dumb as a ghastly could work.
But if the next word is plural, like dumb as ghastly ghosts.
Oh, okay. Sure.
That's what I was.
Well, you're gonna have to reach. Okay. Dumb as ghastly.
There we go.
Horse. We're gonna shuffle because it didn't know what to do with that.
No, it didn't.
Clop. See? Midnight. None of these work.
Shuffle. Centaur.
Dumb as ghastly centaur.
We'll add an S.
Okay.
Wait, what's the first word?
Transcendental.
Transcendental. Dumb as ghastly transcendental. We're like talking like we're moving through dimensions here.
I don't know what that word even means.
Transcendental is like I feel like it's usually used with.
Oh, the first thing that came up is meditation.
Yeah, I was like, it's like a. I don't know.
It's like.
See, I can think of what it means in my head, but I can't explain it.
It's. Oh, wow. I mean, the meditation is just like a mantra, but.
Yeah.
It's like transcending, I guess.
Yeah. No. I want a centaur. I like centaurs. We haven't done anything with centaurs yet, have we?
I don't think so.
Add an S onto it.
Well, the question is it dumb as a ghastly centaur or dumb as ghastly centaurs? Ghastly and centaurs, I don't feel like go together.
What if they're skeleton centaurs?
That's
or ghost centaurs.
Spooky as all get out.
Can you imagine? Has anybody ever done a skeleton centaur?
I don't think so. Well, no, hang on. I feel like the people that make the bone skeleton yard decorations probably have. Because have you seen, like, they make bone spiders.
That's true. So you can make anything into a skeleton.
There's got to be a bone centaur around here somewhere.
What kind of what do you call that? That it's not an exoskeleton. What are our skeletons called? I feel like there's
intro skeletons. Welcome to Intro Skeleton 101. In this class, I'm going to teach you about the bones inside of your body. We all got bones. Thanks for coming to class. Have a good day.
I like skeleton centaurs. I want to see what happens with them.
Yeah, well, that's fine, but maybe it's not dumb. Maybe they're just ghastly centaurs.
Okay, so do we want to restart with ghastly centaurs?
Yeah. Arizona, Derby, I think we should do it again.
Yeah,
Shuffle. Sport, prequel, energy.
Ghastly centaurs prequel. I don't know what that is, but it's
nothing.
Funny. Ghastly centaurs energy? Or do we take off the S from centaurs and do ghastly centaur energy? It's like a new Gen Z spooky movie.
It's the vibe,
Bro,
man.
You have such ghastly centaur energy. Like,
the centaur vibes are way off.
They're so bad.
What if we just stop at ghastly centaur?
Okay.
I feel like it's something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down for it. I feel like I like our long titles sometimes because they give something to kind of jump off into making the movie.
Okay.
But I have noticed that a lot of our titles are very, very long.
They're starting to get longer and longer.
So I'm okay with chopping it at 2 words so that we can
let's scale it back.
Rein it in a little.
That was the weirdest oversight ever.
Was that supposed to be a horse, Winnie?
I think it was a horse dying. Because of ghosts.
Yeah, it sounded kind of ghosty.
Okay. Ghastly centaurs.
Okay.
Are the centaurs ghastly because they're skeletons, or are they ghastly because they've got bad vibes? Like, I need to know. Like, are they just like, is it the title that, like, you know, a boomer would be like, oh my God, those centaurs were so ghastly? Or is it like, because they're spooky?
Well, I mean, this is a spooky episode.
It is a spooky episode.
So I feel like I really am stuck on the idea of skeleton centaurs.
I like it.
We could add some ghost centaurs in there too. Like, we could mix it around a little bit.
Zombie centaurs.
Yeah, I was going to say zombie centaurs.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't think anybody's that I know of has explored this.
Sure. I think right now, though, it's just a visual concept. So, like, what's the narrative concept that we're going to kind of run with? Like, are these centaurs the main focus, or are they kind of like the antagonist? Are they...
I feel like this is a world of centaurs.
Sure.
Like, they are the main... Like, how... animals exist, but humans are kind of like the, I don't know, being that kind of controls what goes on in the environment. I feel like centaurs here And so, like, there's different kinds of the Ghastly Centaur, or maybe just there's different kinds of centaurs.
Sure.
And so the spooky ones, the Ghastly Centaurs, are like, I don't know, a special club.
My daddy's in the yacht club. Well, my daddy's in the Ghastly Centaur club. I do want to, like, real quick. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but there is a new show, and I don't remember what channel program has it, but it is called Centaur World. And
I hate it.
I haven't seen any of it.
My best friend started playing the first episode when I was over at the house, and I hate it.
Okay. Hot take.
I'm sorry to anybody who likes it. I'm sorry to the show. First of all, it's got some of the, like, I think it's supposed to be a kid's show, but it's got adult cartoon vibes.
I don't think it's supposed to be a kid's show. Okay. I think it's got the, like, it could be family watch, but I think it is geared more towards adults. I'm almost positive because that's the advertising I saw was for adults.
Yeah. The other thing is I have an issue with how they made them into centaurs.
Okay.
Because, like, traditional centaur, and my best friend and I had a whole discussion about this.
Sure.
We are not on the same page at all.
No.
But it's fine. It was a civil discussion.
Right, of course.
But when I think of a centaur, I think of horse body, human upper half, where the neck and head of the horse would be. In this show, they kind of just, like, it doesn't feel like they make them human on the top half. It feels like they just take whatever animal they are and kind of extend their neck / body-ish kind of to have kind of a human form, but not really. And I'm sure part of it's probably just animation style or whatever, but it just doesn't read centaur to me for all of them.
Sure.
And then also I'm not a huge fan of adult cartoons, but that's just a personal problem.
I just don't have time to watch anything, so I just can't watch anything.
Yeah. But none of them are spooky.
That's true. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to say the word Centaur World without acknowledging the fact that there is a show currently out called Centaur World.
That is fair.
And being like, yeah, we're not doing that.
No, we're not doing that.
World of Centaurs.
World of Centaurs. I feel like, instead of it just being a World of Centaurs, I feel like we could kind of dip into what we did a little bit with our last spooky episode, where it's just a spooky town.
Sure.
Where that's normal.
Sure.
You know, it's not like, oh, they're monsters. That's just who lives there.
Yeah, I'm always against, like, not against. I really like flipping the script and saying that the tropes and stereotypes that have been perceived monstrous for the past, however many years of whatever that story kind of lives. It's nice to flip it and say they're the protagonists now and they're not to be feared and like that kind of stuff. Because it's just, it's fun, and it's like at this point, I think too many people relate to the monsters that see too much of themselves in it, that it's like, we don't need to be demonizing them. We don't need to be punishing them for seeing themselves in werewolves, vampires, whatever. So it's like, yeah, sure. What We Do in the Shadows is a great example of that, of like, it's funny. It's we're taking, and they're not great. Like they're not great people. They're vampires, but it's entertaining to see like failures of personality because they have lived so long or whatever. But we're not necessarily saying, oh, they're villains. Oh, they are like the monster in the story. We're saying we're recontextualizing it, placing them at the center. So I'm a big fan of that just in general, of being like, whatever monster story you relate to, let's make that the protagonist. Let's make that the main character, because I think that it's not fair to have so many people relate to a subculture that is demonized. So I think in this sense, for sure, ghosts, skeletons, whatever. Although I think we could skirt the line and say, like, if you really wanted to do the like skeletons and there's a demon lord kind of situation. Because that's a pretty common, I feel like, fantasy trope of like, there's like a big demon lord or necromancer or someone who's got this army of skeletons, and the skeletons are all dumb. But they're there and they're doing their best.
No, not the skeletons.
I love the dumb skeletons. It's one of my favorites. But so we, like I said, so we could do something like that of like, you know, maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing, but maybe it's not necessarily like they're good citizens.
Right. I feel like just at least making it is normal. Like, this is just the world that you are placed in. Is every being that lives in this world is a spooky type being. So it's not, there's no separation of, oh, you're spooky, I'm not spooky.
Right.
You know, the us and them kind of thing. Like, this is just the world that you're in, is the spooky world. So we don't even have to like acknowledge that it's a spooky world. It's just, that's just what it is.
Yeah. I feel like I'd love to then maybe shy a little bit away from something that's kind of like zombie-esque because I feel like you can get into weird territory with like a decaying creature.
That's fair.
Versus like a ghost or a skeleton. That's just who they are.
Right. We could do Frankenstein instead of zombie.
Oh, Frankenstein's a good one. So if we do a Frankenstein...
Frankentar.
Frankentar. Is it like a creature that is now a centaur because they've been pieced together, or is it just like multiple pieces of different centaurs together?
I feel like it's like multiple pieces of different centaurs. Maybe they had to replace one of their legs with a leg of another, like a regular horse. Or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I do want to point out that I feel like centaurs lend well to horse races, but that's what we did in our last spooky episode.
That is what we did in our last spooky one.
So we got to do something new.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
We haven't done anything that's like strictly fantasy. That's like a fantasy world, like a D&D, like a just taverns and bards, and like we haven't done anything like that.
So there's a quest. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, what is the quest for?
I don't know, but we got a bunch of centaurs on a quest now, so.
Yes, I love it.
I just feel like that would really work, and we're still centering kind of the idea of, you know, horse, right?
Yeah.
Because we talk about like, you know, are we putting the horse in the center or whatever?
Right.
But I feel like, that's the like quest, right?
Oh, I love this. I'm already imagining these centaurs and like the ghost centaurs, like the rogue, because they can kind of hide. And I think the skeletar. Yes, skeletar should be the bard.
Okay, so does the skeletar play their own rib cage?
I was going to say that all of their instruments are made out of bones, but that works too, I guess.
Let me just play a tune.
Yes.
That has to be the voice. Hey, buddy, I'm here to play one song.
Yeah. I love it. She snorted.
It's just the idea of this, like, weirdly gumshoey voice with this skeleton who's like, I'm going to play the marimba on my ribs. I'm going to insert, like, a marimba sound because I need that, like, idea, you know? Like a marimba, just like, that's the sound.
Yes. So is this animated or live action?
I don't know. I feel like the problem is that my brain immediately goes to how to physically actually make this.
Okay.
And I feel like it would be the same amount of money to make live action centaurs as it would be to animate them.
Right.
Because I'm thinking like Lord of the Rings visuals, right? Or even like the freaking centaurs from Chronicles of Narnia. I think about them all the time.
Okay.
I think about them when I fall asleep at night. But like I think I saw behind the scenes. There's one scene where they just do this big sweeping shot of like the whole army before something happens. And this, or maybe it's like before the camp or something. And this one uses a little B-roll and like, but I saw behind the scenes and it's just some guy in like horse pants, really. And then they add the rest of him on in post. So like that idea, right? Like you would build the bottom of the horse either in green or in real. Like I bet you could do it kind of in real and then extend the horse in
You also
post.
have to make him taller.
Yeah, you would
Unless
do
you
like
have like a really tall person.
that,
I
or like
guess.
stilts in your horse feet, essentially.
Horse feet.
Although, you
They're called hooves.
no, I'm saying in the horse.
No, I know what you
the
mean.
feet that are going on the human being. So either one, but I don't know. I think it would be really interesting to do like the visual style of like Chronicles of Narnia or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And like have it be like nobody acknowledges the fact that it like they're whole horses. Because I feel like people would get thrown, but I also feel like it's right in that niche of like young adult fantasy.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like it would really work.
Right.
If we did it like a live action.
I'm
quest.
into it.
Yeah.
I think that Skeletor may have to be CGI though.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a way that you could do that.
I don't think you could. I mean, I think you could have a real person on set.
Yeah, like motion capture maybe kind of stuff.
Well, that would be it just in general. I feel like would be some motion capture and some like you're CGIing the back of the horse anyways. So unless you literally now the other thing we could do, we could call up some cosplayers because I have seen some cosplay centaurs and they are amazing.
I need to see these.
Yeah,
now.
I will show you some of them.
Thank
but like they build the back half of this horse that they just step into, and it's like controlled enough that you can walk. So it's not like you need another person in the back like the old school horses. But
well, if you rig the mechanics right, well, okay, so when a horse is walking, technically all four of their feet hit separately, but I think you can look kind of convincing enough if you have the opposite front and back leg move at the same time. So like if you cross connect it where like when you move your front foot, the other back one moves at the same time, like I think that would look convincing enough.
Yeah. I almost wonder if you could do it with puppets, like Jim Henson style puppets.
That would be amazing.
That would be so cool. Because I think you could either do like traditional style puppets of like there's a person in there or like the robotic puppets that they do.
Yeah.
Of like that's just the back half is a whole robot.
Okay, so scrap all the CGI. We're only doing puppets now.
Jim Henson Company, please pick up. Please pick up. Please pick up. Yeah.
I would love to see because now I'm thinking this obviously is not exactly the same, but I got to see the Broadway version of Lion King when I was really young. And I still remember bits and pieces of it. And like they did, skeleton puppets and stuff. Obviously, you could see the people in it because it's a stage production. But I'm just imagining like.
I think you could get away with a skeleton puppet.
Yes, I think that would be really amazing.
Good. Yeah. Because I was thinking a lot recently about Jim Henson style puppets. Like Jim Henson Company puppets have such a specific look about them, but they're so great because they are physically there.
Yes.
Because I started watching Farscape, which I don't even know 100% for sure. I didn't look at the credits, but I can almost guarantee you that those are Jim Henson puppets. Like because I can tell they're real puppets because they're physically there in the space.
Right.
And it's also an older TV show, so it's easier to tell when it's CGI.
When it's real, yeah.
And then I like Little Shop of Horrors. That's definitely a Jim Henson style, like Big Audrey 2 and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like it's a specific style of puppetry. What's the one? What is the one with the little elfy creatures? That is Dark Crystal.
Oh yeah.
And that obviously that is all Jim Henson style puppets. And I just feel like we don't use puppets enough that we need to use puppets more. Like I'm sure it would be just as expensive, but the thing about doing puppets, this has become a film podcast. I'm so sorry.
Sorry,
but the
guys.
thing about doing puppets in camera is that your film is almost done.
Yeah.
By the time you're finished shooting.
Right.
Like you would need like a little bit of CGI tweaks here and there, but like it would be there.
Well, I mean that's the whole thing with Star Wars. And the reason that so many, well, not the reason, but one of the reasons so many people have issues with the redone versions of the original trilogy and the prequels and why I think the sequels, they did a really good job of marrying in camera, like they used real puppets and in camera puppetry for not everything, but a lot of the things. So they brought back that kind of realness.
It's a real place
to it.
Yeah.
And also use CGI and you know, like when BB-8 was going really fast, they had a guy in a green screen suit like pushing him along because the robotic puppet didn't go that fast on the sand.
Right.
So obviously, you know, you have to get him out of the picture. But yeah, it's that, you know, the real interactions and they're really there and it just, it feels better.
Yeah. So
sorry, guys. We really like real puppets in things.
Listen, I don't know if anybody's seen my personal Instagram, but a couple months ago, I did a photo shoot with the puppets that I had commissioned for a musical video that I had done. That's on my YouTube channel. And I did a little photo shoot with them. And they're so cute and so good. Like, real puppets are amazing, and I will defend them until I die. Like, that's just where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But going back to.
Yes.
So I feel like we need to decide what this quest is.
Right.
Because I think that will inform a lot of things, but everything else is just like, it's just a fantasy, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fantasy quest, like, easy.
So since this is fantasy, magic exists.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're centaurs.
Well,
I feel like it'd be hard.
Doesn't necessarily mean they can do magic.
Well, I'm just trying to think of, like, what's something... I feel like Lord of the Rings is a really interesting exploration of magic, because isn't there some magic, but it's not like, poof, you're a bird.
See, I am not a good person to ask about Lord of the Rings, because I actually... People are going to be mad at me about this, but I haven't actually read or watched any of it, so I know very little.
There's a lot of it. Like,
there is a lot of it.
That's fine. There's a lot of it.
If we want to talk Lord of the Rings, we have to bring the younger sister on the podcast, because I'm pretty sure she knows a lot more.
Yeah,
because she watched all of the movies, I think,
I've
recently-ish.
Seen all the Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen all the Hobbits, and I haven't read any of them. But, like, I'm pretty sure, because, like, Gandalf is a wizard,
right? So,
like, that implies that he does some kind of magic stuff.
But, like, so magic exists in the world, but can the centaurs do magic, I guess is
right. Well, the thing
question.
I'm thinking about Lord of the Rings is, like, magic isn't a solution. It isn't like we need to cross this bridge, I'll magically build a bridge.
Right.
It's like the wizard has the ability to, like, fight the magical creatures, I feel like. But there's really no, like, in Lord of the Rings specifically, there's really no solution that magic provides. It just provides tools, if I'm remembering correctly, because I'm thinking of, like, the sword that glows blue when orcs are around. Like, that's magic, obviously.
Right.
Like, we don't have that in real life.
Right.
Although I'm sure we could do color changing swords now with the technology we have. But it's not like, oh, this sword will kill any orcs by saying a word. Like, it's so they're tools. So I feel like we could even do something along those lines of, like, there's magic, but it just is tools that help you continue with whatever you're doing. It is not I can build a bridge with my mind kind of deal. So I feel like that might be a good.
I feel like that's kind of it's like there are items that have magical qualities.
Sure.
But there's not necessarily, like, spell casting stuff that happens.
Right. We could even do something like a little D&D-ish where it's like, maybe there's no magic unless you're a warlock and you've made a deal with some kind of deity or something like that. So we got some options there.
I was kind of referencing D&D when I was saying we've got a bard and a rogue so far.
Yeah, so bard, rogue, warlock.
Bards, I guess, have some, like, musical magic.
In D&D, they have just like, there's only, from what I understand, I've been playing D&D for, like, almost 4 or 5 years. I don't know this game. There's only, like, one class that doesn't have magic. Like, even if your race isn't inherently magical, you get a spell and you get a spell.
Just,
and it's
like,
fun.
You know, a few couple ones here and there.
But I feel like we could do something that is very strict in terms of, like, who gets magical abilities as far as that goes. But maybe magical items, sure, we can have as many as we want.
Right.
But I think a bard just literally just, like, The Witcher style of like it's just a guy there
who's just singing. Add some background music
some
to your
ambiance. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me think of. Oh, you haven't seen this movie.
I haven't seen a lot of movies.
But the Penguins of Madagascar.
I have seen this movie.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I did end up watching that.
Yes, it's so funny.
I'm curious where this is going.
I'm just imagining it. So there's a bit in it where they're the penguins are trying to get away from the. I don't know if they're actually squid or I think they're squid minions of the evil guy. Anyways, so they end up I think they're in Paris. I think it's assumed that they're in Paris because they end up in one of those boats.
Oh, yeah.
The gondolas that has like a guy playing music in the back of it.
That's right.
And so at one point, like he's basically playing the soundtrack to like what's going on as they're trying to escape from these squid. And then the boat gets disintegrated, but he's still there. And then they like run head on into some of the minions or whatever. So he starts playing the like duel, Old West duel music, basically. So that's what I was thinking of. Just a guy just playing background music to whatever's going on.
I think we could do something like that, and then at the end, like with the big climax moment, like the bard is the most important person for whatever reason. I'm wondering, okay, so is it quest to find an item? Is it quest to solve a problem? Because in a D&D, when you play the dungeons or the dragons, typically your plot hook is something along those lines of like, oh, we need to retrieve this item that will bring you fame, glory, fix a problem, whatever. Or like this village is like, oh, please help us. We've got a bunch of witches in the forest that are terrorizing our children. Can you solve this problem?
Right.
Or someone hires you, like, I need a group of adventurers to find my kidnapped son, like those kind of things. So I'm going back to like Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Even like Chronicles of Narnia too. But Lord of the Rings is like, we gotta get rid of this dang ring. We gotta get it out of here. And then Chronicles of Narnia is like, hey, we are gonna have to fight for the good of the world. So we should get that figured out.
Yeah.
So something like Chronicles of Narnia is not as questy, but I cannot stop thinking of the centaurs in that movie. Like, they're there.
Yeah. Well. My first instinct was to be that they were questing for a golden horseshoe.
Absolutely, yes, 100%. Okay. That's it.
I don't know what this golden horseshoe does.
Yeah, who gets it? Because there's going to be at least 8 feet.
You
more.
Don't wear it.
Oh, I thought we were wearing it.
No, it's like they turn it usually. Okay, because so the thing with. So if we're going back to old superstition,
sure.
The obviously horses wear horseshoes.
Yeah.
But once you take them off and you want to like hang them up as decor or whatever, it's there's a lucky horseshoe. You have to put it where so it's like a U shape, right? So the open space is facing up.
Yeah, so the luck doesn't fall out.
Right, because if you do it the other way, then all the luck drains out.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, if it was a golden lucky horseshoe, I would imagine you would want to wear it as like a necklace.
Okay.
Where the open space is facing upwards so that you can... I realize we have cameras now, so if you're watching this, it's like this is the horseshoe. It's like here, it's like a necklace.
Yeah, yeah, could be what we do. I was thinking there is an item in one of the games that I don't think we ended up picking up in the No Dice. That
shout out to No Dice.
Sorry that we're still on hiatus. Hopefully by this point, the point you're listening, Brittany Lee, will be editing at least the Halloween episode, if not something else.
Keep her accountable, guys.
I'm so tired.
Okay.
In one of the episodes, like early on, we went to this like museum of things, and there was a set of horseshoes. It was only 2 of them, and so you needed 4, and you put them on your horse, and it made your horse fly. So I was thinking like that of like if you had a full set of horseshoes,
golden horseshoes,
it could do something.
So it's not just one singular one that hangs out by itself.
It could be. I'm just wondering, like, what it has to be something more than just like a lucky horseshoe if it's just a singular one.
Right. Well, it does something.
Yeah, but it could be like, you know, the Mummy where you like stick it in a wall and something opens.
Something happens.
Yeah. We're spending so much time on this MacGuffin. Like,
sorry, guys.
I love it. It's great. It's just really funny because if you look at it from a storytelling perspective, it doesn't really matter what it is. The point is that, you know, the friends we made along the way. You know, that's really what it boils down to.
Okay,
but fair. I do think we can keep going with this.
Okay, well, so I had a kind of a question that is straying from the horseshoe now.
Please.
This adventuring party. Mm-hmm. Do they all start out together? Is it two of them that gather, or one of them that gathers others along the way? Do they know each other beforehand? Is this like a king situation that's like, I have chosen you four to go on this quest together. You all don't know each other at all, but work together. Have fun. Bye.
Good luck. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want to like stick to Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings is, hey, all y'all, we're gonna go destroy this ring. Good luck. And that was kind of, well, there's more to it, obviously, but like, whereas with like Chronicles,
welcome to a podcast within a podcast where Brittany gives you the shortest episode, the shortest what is it, plot line
summary
of cliff notes of every movie you've ever seen.
Lord of the Rings. A bunch of guys got together and said this ring's got to get out of here. Doesn't go with the decor. No, so I think I want to like, because there's that, right? And then like, if I keep referencing these two, because these are the two fantasy movies in my head today. So Lord of the Rings and then Chronicles of Narnia, which is like, you're the chosen ones, and they're like, what? I guess if you insist. Can you give me some weapons? Sure, okay. So it could be like that. It could be something where it is like a thrall, where they're like all called to it. They hear the sounds of it and they follow it.
I suddenly was thinking that I kind of want to give this Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz? You want to give him a video on demand? He can watch this one.
I actually said odd, but okay, that works too. Wizard of Oz vibes, because I can just imagine the Skeletor being like stuck somewhere.
Oh, sure.
Like in jail or something. Well, you know, you go like the two or three that start or are on the quest at this point have to go into maybe it's like a side quest. They're like helping somebody by breaking them out of jail because they've been unfairly imprisoned, or, you know, I don't know. I feel like there are like fantasy things that where, you know, you go and you break somebody out of jail, but it's not like a evil person that you've broken out of jail. Like, you've broken a good person out of jail. Or
it's like Ocean's 11. It's a heist movie where you're like, we got to break them out of jail because we need their lock-picking skills.
Right, exactly.
So
I just feel like I'm just imagining Skeletor being in one of the other jail cells and just being like, hey guys, can you break me out too? Like, I'll be super helpful. I'll play some background music.
I don't require any food.
Yeah. Like, just like bargaining with them. I mean, bards have high charisma, right?
That's true.
So they would somehow convince them to let Skeletor tag along on this quest. And so it's one of those kind of things where you just kind of pick up people or other questing party members along the way. And some of them are helpful, and some of them you're like, why are they here again?
Who knows?
But they provide comedic relief.
Sure, they're allowed.
So that was kind of my thought now.
I like it. I wonder if maybe we just start off with one centaur then.
Just one? Okay.
Just like, this centaur is like, I need to get this golden horseshoe.
Okay. Are they a champion for the king/queen, or are they just deciding to go on this quest? Like, how did they find out about the quest?
We have to figure out what the golden horseshoe is now, I think. Because I think if it's something like I mentioned earlier where it's like a thrall, then they could just hear it and be like, oh, I gotta go find it. Or it comes to them in a dream or something like that. Or if it is like, yes, I'm like, I don't know, maybe the kingdom, if we go with like a king's champion, like the kingdom has 3 and they're trying to find the final 4th horseshoe to like, I don't know, prove that they're the truly royal one or something like kind of like a King Arthur situation of like, if you pull it from the stone, you're the king. So we could do something like that. It could be something where it's like, I'm gonna sell it. Like kind of like a morally gray person where they're like, I'm gonna go on this quest to get this horseshoe and then I'm gonna make a lot of money. Yeah. Something like that. Because those are always fun. I feel like people like morally gray characters. Look at Loki.
That's fair.
So it's like, because if you do something like that, right, where the beginning intention is like, I'm just going to do it and my plan is to sell it because it's gold. And then like along the way, they find out like what it means or who it actually belongs to or, they make like a choice at the end where they're like, fine. And they like, do the right thing, which is always fun.
So what I'm imagining then is one of those situations where they're in a bar and
a horse bar.
Come back around, baby. All the way back. And they're just having their weekly drink of water.
This is a PG podcast.
Well, no, because that's what horses drink.
That's true, but you can also give them beer.
That's because they are half human.
Well,
or half, like, ghostly.
Yes.
I don't know.
Beer is also, from what I understand, good for horses, like for sugar.
Oh, I have heard something about that. I don't know all the specifics of it.
I don't either, but I watched them drink beer before, and it doesn't make them drunk because it doesn't absorb in their system the same way. So they could drink a beer if they wanted to.
Yeah. So anyway, they're having their drink. If they're the ghost centaur, they're not really drinking, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But anyways, I don't know which one we want to start with as being the starter.
I feel like a regular centaur.
A regular centaur?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that way we can get progressively weirder.
Okay.
As we go.
Perfect. So the regular centaur is in this bar, and these other people are talking about this thing that they heard in the next town over. And it's basically, that's the rumor is that the 4th golden horseshoe is somewhere in this other place, and whoever gets it and brings it, like the king or queen or whoever is like posted a reward.
What if instead of it being like a reward situation, what if it's a rumor because it's like the kingdom line, so it's technically in the neighboring kingdom.
Oh, okay.
And so they can't go and get it because it will start a war. And they're trying not to start a war because it's been peace times. And so it's like, so a person who could go and get it from the neighboring country and not really worry about the ramifications would be someone who's kind of like morally gray, morally neutral.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm also thinking about how in some of the fantasy situations, it's just, have you heard this rumor about this magical item? It gives you cool powers.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be super cool to find? And then the person drinking, like, does the weird look thing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm going to go look for that.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody else knows, but they just overheard it, and they're like, okay, now I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah, it could be just totally, like, low information. Like, we don't have to go deep in the sauce.
We usually do, though.
We do. It's okay. We'll come back to it. That's a second draft.
Yeah, okay.
Problem to figure out.
So regular centaur hears rumor about magical item.
Yes.
Decides to go on quest for magical item.
Right. Spends their last coin at the bar. It's like, I gotta go get this because I'm broke.
Ends up on a couple side quests where picks up other centaurs.
And like the side quest is because it needs money.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, that gets you to that next point.
Right.
I think at one point the centaur should, and I don't think it would be the first one, so maybe it might be the first one, because I just feel like side quest, you get some money and then you stay the night at the tavern, and that's where the ghost horse is. Like the ghost horse is just in there, like
Dude, this is my room.
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
Love it.
Okay. And then obviously Skeletor is picked up
In jail. Yeah.
When breaking somebody out
Who
of jail.
else are we breaking out of jail? Just another regular centaur? Or like Frankencentor?
I feel like the person that actually gets broken out of jail doesn't come on the quest.
Okay.
With them. Like, it's one of those side things where it's like, break this person out of jail so that they can, I don't know, avenge themselves or something.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, I can't think of specifics, but I know that there's fantasy storylines where it's, you know, oh, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Aragon.
Oh, sure.
Where now in Aragon, the government is completely corrupt, so that kind of plays into it of like false imprisonment, basically. Sure. But at one point, they have to go and break out of jail. The main character actually has to get broken out of jail.
Oh, okay.
Because they've been imprisoned because the king doesn't like them. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways. Sure. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. And when the main character gets broken out of jail, they've also had these dreams about some other person that they realize is in the same jail with them and ends up being like a super important figure. So they break her out of jail too. So that's kind of what I was thinking of.
Sure. I mean, we could have a prophetic vision.
Yeah.
So,
but I just feel like it's like not the main. Like, the regular centaur is not part of that main story. Like, they're just a side character that helps break out of jail somebody for another, like, story that exists somewhere over here.
Sure.
And then just picks up Skeletor.
Sure.
Because, so maybe maybe Skeletor doesn't have to convince regular centaur to break them out of jail.
Sorry, we stopped even thinking about names. Just regular centaur. Is his name Joe or something?
Well, I was like also trying to avoid pronouns because we haven't decided.
We have not decided. No.
I think Skeletor is like a old timey Western guy.
Yeah, I made him sound like a
Skeletor is him.
You need me to play my bones? You're like, okay.
So maybe when they're breaking people out of jail, they just have to open all of the jail cells.
Okay, yeah.
So Skeletor is freed and is like, okay, now what do I do?
I got nothing else to do. I'm following you.
You're like, okay.
All right, buddy.
So do we have 4 regular centaur, ghost centaur, Skeletor, and Frankentar?
Yeah. Whose name needs to be Frank?
Frankie.
Didn't we do that before?
Oh, we did do Frankie before.
I think we did Frankie before.
Frank. Ghost.
Or Fran.
Well, how about we split it down the middle?
Sure.
Skeletor's name is Joe, and Frankentar's name is Frank.
Okay.
Joe, just because Joe makes me think of a banjo player.
Okay.
Which is the vibes that I'm getting as banjo player.
Old Joe.
Old Joe, okay.
O-L.
Apostrophe. Perfect.
Old Joe.
Old Joe.
I'm Old Joe. You want me to play my bones? No, Joe.
No,
we
Joe.
don't.
We don't. And then I think that the regular, like the main centaur should be a female.
Sure.
I don't know what her name is.
Cynthia.
Ooh.
Thank you.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
so
welcome.
Cynthia, and I think so is Ghost Centaur just gonna be, or I mean, we don't have to decide. I was just thinking, like, if we split it evenly,
I mean, Ghost
nice.
Centaur could be Maria.
Perfect.
Okay. Cynthia, Maria, Frank, and Old Joe.
And Frank and Old Joe.
I love it. Motley Crue.
So I think it should be in that order of like appearance.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, yeah. Cynthia, Maria, Old Joe, Frank.
Yeah, where's Frank come in? Where do we pick up Frank? Because that's why I asked if Frank is in the jail or not. Because I feel like if not, then we've got one more place to go.
One more side quest, I think.
Yeah.
Because you could almost do it like, so Sometimes there are things, so that now I'm thinking of some of my King Arthur stories where it's like this person has information on your end goal.
Sure.
But to get that information, you have to do like a side quest for them. And so maybe that's how like these side quests are coming about. It's not just money, but it's also like this person has information
of like the next part of
the next part of the map, or you're gonna need this other magical item to get to the final magical item. You gotta collect all the keys and whatnot. Yeah. We don't have to specify what exactly it is.
I think it should fall within like category of key, as in like it's a it's a thing that fits in a door. It doesn't have to be like a skeleton key, but it's something that fits in the door that gets you to whatever
national treasure
chambers, whatever. And then map. I think like those are the two things, key and map.
Yeah.
I would say those are the two things they need to find the information that they're looking for as far as what that goes for.
Right.
Frank,
where should Frank come in? Because I feel like we've established that we meet Maria in the room.
Yeah, the inn.
The inn, thank you. I couldn't think of the word for it.
The room.
The room that you stay in overnight.
The hotel.
Well, I kept thinking tavern. I was like, no, that's where you get the drinks.
Well,
not the room.
yeah, you could in the D&D you can stay at the rooms above the tavern.
Right. Okay.
So, but it's usually a tavern inn.
Yeah. And I feel like Maria would have some information.
Sure.
And that would be why she would want to come along.
Sure.
On the quest. Old Joe is just
there.
Just there.
Yeah.
To provide some background music.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know why Frank would want to come or be helpful.
I mean, it could be something like an unfulfilled character who wants to do something different with their life, or it could be like they have an item but they're not willing to give it up, so they have to accompany the item.
Okay.
So like those would be, for some reason I see Frank as like a shopkeeper.
Okay.
So I feel like, they come in looking for whatever. And Frank is like, I'll come with you.
Yeah.
You are all dumb. I'm gonna...
You're all dumb.
I know how to do this. I quested to get all of these items, I can do this.
Right.
So maybe something like that.
Okay. I like that.
Okay, cool. And so then we get the golden horseshoe. However, we get through the dungeon, right? Because that's what it really is. We get through a dungeon, we get the golden horseshoe. Then what happens?
The real treasure of some friends you made along the way.
We got to go back is usually...
Right, yeah.
So it's like, are we keeping it? Are we selling it? Are we giving it to the king? Is it better if someone uses it? Like, is it a one-use item that then someone uses? Like,
what if when they finally find it, they encounter a
dog?
A wizard dog.
A wizard dog, yes!
I was going to say wizard, so I'm just making a wizard dog.
Wizard dog.
So the wizard dog appears, is invoked by opening the door to where the golden horseshoe is, and gives information about, I don't know, the powers of it or whatever. Because I feel like if this
you must answer my riddles 3.
There we go. There's riddles. Perfect.
I was actually thinking the dog doesn't talk. I feel like it's just a dog in a wizard hat. And so what I think would be like, I feel like this is slightly gearing towards a little bit of a comedy, right? Like it's like YA fantasy, right? Where it's like, this is serious, but it's kind of funny. It's for like younger adults, young teens. So they can just like have this dialogue where they're like inferring things from the dog's reactions, but the dog never actually says anything. Yes. And so like as the audience, you're like, is this just a dog? Is this just a dog?
Can they hear the dog in their minds?
Yeah, like, are we not hearing the dog? This dog just licked its butt. What does that mean? Like, I think that would be so funny. To just have it just be a dog.
Just a dog.
Just a dog.
With a wizard hat.
With a wizard hat on.
That appears.
Right. So it is magical in some capacity.
Right.
But is just a dog.
It's just a dog.
Yeah. And so, I don't know, maybe the characters have like a moment with this inferred dialogue and that they're like, no, you're right. We can't take it. It's not for us. And something like that, right?
Yeah. So do they leave it there?
I don't know. I mean, does the rogue take it?
Or do they infer that they need to return it to its rightful owner?
Maybe.
Which maybe is listed on like a plaque.
This, if lost, return to George.
They flip over the horseshoe and it's engraved in the back of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're like, okay. And so maybe, bear with me. It ends there.
Okay.
And it opens the possibility for sequel quest of them finding George to return the golden horseshoe.
Is this the same George that lives in space from our first episode?
No. This George doesn't have any numbers in their name.
Okay.
It's just a regular. Well, I mean, it could be a different name. Do you want a different name?
I was just thinking about the fact that we use George and Harold a lot.
We do. Well, they're good names.
They are good names. Toby.
Tobitha.
What?
Tabitha. I said Tobitha. That's not a name.
Toshiba?
Terry.
There we go. That's a good ambiguous name.
Yeah, Terry.
Terry's perfect.
Okay. You've lost return to Terry.
With an I.
With an I.
Terri.
Good. I like it. Is that where we are ending?
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
All right.
That was a lot. Sorry, it took us a little while to get there.
Yeah, we got there. There's a lot of good stuff in there. There was also just a lot of non-building of this movie, so totally makes sense.
Yes.
So, is that a cult classic?
That is definitely a cult classic.
Okay, cult
I want
classic.
to watch this movie now.
What is this title again?
Ghastly Centaurs.
All right.
Yeah.
Ghastly Centaurs.
I think we
in parentheses, The Quest.
The Quest.
Do you
the
like
Golden Horseshoe.
Quest for the Golden Horseshoe. Yes. Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So that's our cult classic. Thanks for listening. We are part of the Pocket Podcast Network, which has a lot of great shows. Steampunks is back.
Woo!
So please listen to Steampunks.
Yes.
And give them all your love and support. And then, as always, all the other great shows on the network. I'm not going to list them all because they're all so great, and we're not playing favorites except for Steampunks today, apparently. So sorry about that.
We're just letting you know that they're back.
They are back, and they are super great.
You can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Colt Classics PPN. All one word.
Yeah.
Colt Classics PPN.
Follow us on Twitter. We want to do an episode in the barn.
Yes.
And I really want to interview a horse. I've been brushing up on my interview skills, so I'm going to be ready. It's going to be super fun. Thanks to Jason Shaw of Audionautics for the use of our intro and outro music.
And that's a wrap.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Disclaimer. The conceptual treatment of a motion picture created during the duration of this audio program is not intended to represent a presently published fictional narrative. The story, all names, characters, and incidents portrayed in this production are fictitious. No identification with actual persons, living or deceased, places, buildings, and products is intended or should be inferred. Original concepts devised during the extent of the audio program are creative property of Colt Classics. Any usage of current or previous Colt Classic concepts outside of the aforementioned audio program must include appropriate acknowledgments by the utilizing party.
Pocket Podcast Network. Quality programming right to your pocket.